What's going on, Slay Baes? It's Ashley and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm bringing to you a makeup tutorial and I'm really excited because I haven't done my makeup in a minute because I've been filming so much lifestyle content. I did the declutter, the shop with me at TJ Maxx, and also the house hunting vlog that I kind of miss sitting down in front of my camera and doing a real deal makeup tutorial. So I had to throw it back. Today we are doing more of an affordable look. So I have a variety of different products from different brands. We have Milani, BH Cosmetics, L'Oreal. We have a bunch of different things to dabble into today. So if you're breathing, don't forget to give this video a big ol' like so that way I know you like it. Likes always help me out on my channel. So stop, pause, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that bell so that way YouTube will notify you when I upload. With that, let's get the good zoom going and jump into the makeup tutorial. So to start, I already did my brows and I primed my lids off camera. I didn't really want to talk about it in today's video because I feel like sometimes when I look over my makeup tutorials, they're just hella repetitive. Like, they know, Ashley, prime the lids for longevity, for your eyeshadow to stay on longer. They already know. No need to go over it a million in one times. Anyways, moving on. I am gonna go in with this palette today. This is by Milani. This is the Milani Hyper Pigmented Eyeshadow Palette, and I'm not entirely sure if it has a name. Gilded Rouge, is that the name? Anyways, besides that, opening it up, it has so many beautiful colors in this palette. I did find this at Ulta. Y'all already know how I feel about Ulta. Love Ulta. But look how incredible this palette looks. I love that it has a mixture of formulas. So we have some mattes, we have some shimmers. We also have glitters over here, which I feel like is very, very new for Milani. So we're gonna give it a go and test it out. So the first shade I'm gonna take is called Sangria, which is the shade right here on an M441. And I'm just gonna lightly dust it above my crease as a very, very light transition color. So I will most definitely say that this Sangria shade is absolutely beautiful and stunning in the crease. I did go in with a very, very light hand just because I don't want it to be too dark or too deep. The next shade I'm going to take is this one right here. It's called By the Glass. It is a really beautiful kind of plum purple, and I am going to take that more on a concentrated crease brush, and I'm just going to tap it right here on the outer V and also in the crease. Then I'm going to go in with this brush right here and just kind of lightly diffuse out the color. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that shade called By the Glass and just kind of re-intensify it just by packing and then lightly blending. You know what? I'm going to go in with a little bit of this shade right here called Sangria on that M441 brush, and I'm just going to run it right above the dark purple shade just to give it more of a better blend. Okay, so now that I have that purple blended all over my lid, one thing I definitely want to point out is how the eyeshadow is gripping onto my eyeshadow primer. Now, one of the main reasons we say to lay down a very thin layer of powder onto your eyeshadow base before you go in with shadow is to kind of prevent this. As you can see, the purple is kind of gripping in certain areas, making it look a little bit patchy. I definitely don't feel like it's the eyeshadows. I feel like it's more so my primer, because if you look at this eye and then you look at this eye over here, you can definitely see that the shadow is gripping differently in different areas. So what I'm going to do in today's case is I'm going to put a shimmer all over the lid to kind of bring this look back together. Okay? Because we looking a little crazy, just a little. I'm now going to go in with the shade right here called Bewitched, and I'm going to take it on a full coverage shadow brush by Smashbox. I am going to apply the shadow wet, so I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of Fix Plus. If you have anything else from the drugstore, definitely use that, but Fix Plus is just what I have in front of me, and I'm just going to simply tap this all over my eyelid. And personally, I like to apply shadows wet just so that way they could show up to their full intensity. But you guys do whatever it is that you want. I definitely feel like the shadow palette isn't as pigmented as I anticipated. This is pretty, but I expected this blue to be blue, and it's just kind of blue, you know? Am I the only one who sees it? Probably. I'm also really picky when it comes to eyeshadow palettes and such. If I'm going to recommend something to you, I want you guys to feel like you spent your coin on quality product, and I'm not really getting that with this palette. The formula definitely feels different than their Most Love Mattes palette in the Bold Obsessions. If you guys have tried this and you also tried some of their other palettes, how do you guys feel about the palette in comparison to each other? I'd love to know. Definitely not my vibe. I have no idea what's happening here, but it's not looking too good. How can I save this look and how can I bring it back home? That is a real question. So I do have this palette right here from BH Cosmetics. This is the Beautiful in Barcelona palette. And while I don't have like a matte blue in this palette, I do have more of a shimmery blue. I have this one called Mediterranean, and then I also have this one called Picasso. I think I want to go in with a little bit of the shade called Picasso because it's very similar to what I currently have on my eyes. So I am going to take a Sigma Cream Color E58, pick up a little bit of the shade Picasso, spritz my brush with some Fix Plus, and just put it all over the lid. This is definitely going on a million times better. I don't know what was going on with that shade in the Milani palette, but I was not feeling it. Now I'm going to go in with a small M507 by Morphe, and I'm just going to lightly buff this into the crease just to kind of blend these two shades together because there's a really, really stark, harsh contrast between the two, and that's not really the vibe I'm going for. Y'all know we're all about the seamless blend over here. Ooh, okay, boo, this is what I'm talking about. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to clean up this fallout because it's not a pretty sight to look at. Do the other eye off camera, and then we'll come back and finish off the rest of the look. Okay, so let's actually take a little mini break from the eyes. I do have a primer that I want to try out. This is by NYX. This is called the Bare With Me Hydrating Jelly Primer. A lot of you guys have actually been wanting me to try this and test it out, so I figured why not? I was in Ulta recently, and I decided to pick it up. I also picked up a bunch of like NYX lip liners just because I've been wanting to try out more colors from NYX. This is what the primer is looking like, okay? Very, very like jelly-like. Ooh. The texture is interesting. Okay, I'm gonna just take a little bit of this and put it on my face. I feel like anytime I work with dark eyeshadow, it always looks like I got punched in the face, but let's just get past that because it will come together once I put on foundation and stuff. Ooh, I kind of like this. It actually gets pretty tacky to touch, which is always good. Like, that's one thing I always look for in a primer. I want to know, is it going to get tacky? Is my foundation going to stick to it? So this is definitely, this is a mood, this is a vibe. I actually want to read what the box says. It says it extends the wear of makeup, blurs the appearance of pores, non-sticky, lightweight feel, skin feels refreshed, blend seamlessly. Like, it doesn't feel sticky, but it definitely feels like a little bit tacky to touch. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the whole pore blurring property because I don't really see it, but let's just go ahead and move on to actual foundation. I will definitely have to try this over a period of time and then come back and let you guys know how I truly feel about it. This is just first and foremost like a first impressions on this product, but so far so good. Now, before I get into actual foundation, you guys already know I have to use my Pixie color corrector. I do get mine at Target. I always have it linked down below for you in case you guys are interested in this color corrector. Honestly, it's one of my personal favorites. I just love how light it is, and it also just does the job. Like, it really cancels out the darkness I have underneath my eye and also like around my mouth, my chin, and stuff like that. Okay, so let's actually move on to foundation. Now, the foundation I'm going to use today is a foundation I've had in my collection for a minute, but I just haven't reached for it. It is this one right here by L'Oreal. This is the L'Oreal Fresh Wear 24-Hour Foundation. I do have 3 shades. I have 460, 455, and also 450. I am going to try to experiment and find my perfect shade. I have heard that a lot of people like this foundation, so I'm very curious just to see how it wears on myself. This right here is 450. Ooh. Okay, so I think 455 and 460 is just going to be a tad bit too dark for me just because this is looking like just slightly too dark. So I'm going to roll with 450. I'm just going to put a little bit of this foundation on my Beauty Blender mixing palette. Honestly, you guys don't even really need this palette right here. You can use the back of your eyeshadow palette, the back of a coaster, or just a coaster in general. So don't go out and buy that. I know a lot of people always ask me what I use, and I just don't think you need to spend the extra coin. You can use whatever flat surface that you have. I'll also have some link down below on Amazon if you want like a real deal tray, if you're like a freelance makeup artist or something like that and you want to be a little bit more professional. Honestly, I may or may not be sitting here wondering why it's taken me so long to try out this foundation because I'm so impressed with the coverage. Do you guys see that? Like, it's literally covering up everything for me. Whew, I love that for me, especially right now with my current acne situation. Yes, boo. Yes. You know what? I definitely feel like I can get away with it for today's video, but just know this shade by L'Oreal 450 definitely isn't my correct undertone. I want to say that they do have a lot of like pinky rosy undertones as opposed to like golden and neutral. And if they do have golden or neutral, they're way too dark for me. So I have no idea what's happening here. Probably why I haven't reached for this foundation, but I will definitely say if you can find your color in this, the coverage is incredible. Speaking of coverage, I do have the brand new CoverGirl concealers. I have the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer. I'm gonna roll with L300, which is in the shade Golden Ivory, and I'm going to just pop this right under here. I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna kind of blend it out to really help with the color of my foundation. But I will definitely say like this color matches my neck a lot better than the color I have all over my face. Like it is a little bit lighter, but I'm just like kind of referring to the undertone. Now that I have concealer on, let's actually go back into powder. I'm going to use that same CoverGirl powder. I guess the only downfall about this powder is that it isn't talc free. I wish more like affordable brands would have more talc free powders, because ultimately like I do want to transition to that like eventually, because I don't know, I've just been very, very cautious of the different things that I put on, because I feel like ingredients in certain products is very important. If you guys know of any really good like talc-free powders, let me know, because I definitely want to try them out. It could be affordable, it could be high-end, just whatever your recommendations are, leave them down below in the comments. Okay, so I'm looking at my eye look and I'm feeling like I want something like a little more, like a little extra. So I'm going to go back into that Milani palette and I'm going to pick up this shade right here called, wait, what? It is so pretty. Like, look how gorgeous that is. So I am going to apply it with my finger. I'm going to spritz my finger with a little bit of Fix Plus just so that way it goes on a little wet, and I'm just going to press it all over my eyelid just to give it something a little extra. Yes, boo. That's what I'm talking about. Do you guys see that? That's literally how I feel about this shade in this palette. Like, there's just such a clear difference from this side to this side. Okay, that's enough. Since we're here, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Sangria and also By the Glass, and I'm just gonna smoke that on my lower lash line just to kind of bring the entire look together. So I definitely feel like this look needs a little bit of a brow bone highlight, so I'm gonna go in with this shade right here called Hush Hush. And I'm going to put this on my brow bone just to kind of add a little something here. This also helps like bring down the color in the slightest bit if you feel like you took it too high. I'm now going to move on to bronzer. I'm going to use this bronzer right here by number 7. I love this bronzer. It's in the shade Caramel or Caramel. Do you say caramel or caramel? I'm going to use this bronzer. What I love most about it is that it is more of like a warm tone bronzer, which sometimes I love a warm tone bronzer, but other times I don't. It really just depends. But what I love most about this bronzer is that it is perfect for like, oh my God! It's pigmented, but it's also perfect for the summer when you want more of a bronzy looking glow. Let's hope I can blend this out. This is what happens when you're too busy talking and not paying attention to how much you dipped your brush into the product. You see, this is what it's supposed to look like when you apply just the right amount. This side got a little carried away, but let's just pretend that didn't happen. Oh. Do you guys see what I mean? Like, it blends seamlessly into the skin. It is gorgeous. I do know they have other bronzer shades. I'm just unsure of how many. Now, since I'm going for more of a dramatic look today, I am going to take a little bit of this bronzer here. Like so, just to kind of clean up my bronzer. And I'm also going to take a little bit of that bronzer alongside the sides of my nose, just to give it a little bit more shape. While I let this bake here, I'm going to go in with one of my favorite styles of lashes. These are by Salon Perfect. I've actually already tore up the box, but these are their Extension Seeker lashes in the style 662. By far one of my favorite like affordable lashes. So I'm going to take these, pop them on, and then we'll come back, wipe off the bake, and finish off the rest of the face. Alright, so I'm going to wait for my lash glue to completely dry, and while I wait for it to dry, I'm just going to go ahead and move on just because I don't want to waste any more time. But do you guys see how stunning and just gorgeous that bronzer is? Like, definitely recommend it. It is one of my top bronzers. I haven't used it in a while and I have no idea why, because it is so gorgeous. Now let's actually move on to blush. Now I do have two different blush and highlight palettes that I want to share with you. Both are by BH Cosmetics. Now you guys have seen me talk about this one in the past. This is called Blushing in Bali. This is such a gorgeous blush and highlight palette. I love the shades of the blushes. I also love the shades of the highlighters, but they did just come out with another one, which I was so incredibly excited for, because this is like more of like a peachy tone blush palette, and I'm all about that. This is called Glowing in Grease. You guys, can we just take a moment? This is like a blush palette for me. You know what I mean? Like peach tone blushes, love the highlight shade. So I am going to go in with this one, which is called Glowing in Grease. But if you guys have this one is really, really awesome as well. It really just depends what blush shade you're really going for. So I'm going to mix these two shades together. Actually, this one and this one, because I feel like it will go with the look really, really well. So I'm going to take my, what is this? A sheer powder brush by Smashbox, and just go in with these blush shades here and pop them onto my cheeks. Now for me personally, I feel like it really just depends on your vibe. If you do go with more of like a cool tone look like I have right now, you can definitely go in with a cool tone blush, but I kind of like to mix the two. Like if I'm going in with like a cool tone eye, I definitely want to do more of like a warm cheek, but that's just me. That's my stilo. Definitely do whatever it is that you like. Whoo, that is pretty. I am going to put on highlight, even though highlight hasn't been like my best friend. If you get me, like if you have texture acne, highlight is not your best friend. I don't care what you say. I'm going to take this shade right here called Olympia, and I'm going to mix it in with a little bit of Athens. So the lighter shade and the deeper shade, and I'm just going to pop this right here. Also going to take a little bit on the tip of my nose and down the bridge. I'm just going to pop on a little bit of mascara. I'm going to use our Fantasize mascara by COLLAB, which is brand new. It has not launched yet, so I am teasing you guys a little bit. But I'm going to use this mascara to blend my lashes in with the false lash. Now that that's done, I'm going to spray my face with a little bit of Fix Plus just to kind of melt down all the powders. Sometimes I like to take a sponge and just lightly tap it to really just help make things look very flawless and seamless. And for the lips, I do have two different lip liners that I think will complement the look very well. I'm going to go in with the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Soft Spoken. I'm going to line my lips with this, and I'm going to fill them in completely. I'm also going to go in with this shade right here. This is called Los Angeles, which is just a little bit deeper, and I feel like it will go with the look a little bit better. Alright, Slay Baes, this right here is the final and completed look. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. I will definitely say, when I was filming this video, I had my doubts. Like, when I used the Milani palette for the first time, I was a little bit disappointed, especially in this shade right here, which is called Bewitched. As you guys saw, when I put this shade on my lid, it didn't really pack a punch, so I had to dip into another palette by BH Cosmetics to get that blue purple to be as opaque as it is right now. I did go back into the Milani palette though, and I used this shade right here called Wait What? And this is such a beautiful shade. I feel like it really just took this look to the next level. So, I mean, I feel like the Milani palette could definitely be a hit. It could be a miss. It really just depends. I'm going to continue playing around with this palette and give you guys my updated final thoughts in a future video, or maybe even over on Instagram. So make sure you guys are following me over on Instagram. By the way, I did already announce all the winners to my huge like makeup declutter video. I gave away 5 mystery makeup boxes. So if you guys didn't win, don't fret. I will have many more giveaways coming very soon. So make sure you guys are following me on all platforms, so that way you guys don't miss a giveaway from me. I love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces.